first decade duels of 2021. Jose, Norb. This is where we pick any random year in the history of MLB, and we look at the MVP races from both the American League and the National League. And of course, we picked the beautiful year of 1981, where our good old friend Norb was born. I clearly wasn't around. In fact, my parents didn't even meet in 1981, to put that into perspective. Look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
Way to make you feel old, Norb. Yeah, that's a good nugget right there in podcasting. Yes, 1981. We go way back, and of course, we go back to the in 81, the Ricky Henderson days for sure. This is how far back we're going in his prime. Of course, I took care of the American League MVP race. Norb took care of the National League race. I'm gonna go first because when I was researching this, when I was studying it up, I was going in the most respective way possible. What the hell? Because in a respectful way. Of course, Raleigh Fingers was named the American League MVP in 1981. A pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers who pitched a 6-3 record, a 1.04 ERA, a 8.72 with a WHIP, 28 saves, 47 games, 78 innings pitched, only allowed 3 home runs. Let's face it, no doubt about it, lights out. Absolutely lights out. He got 15, I believe it was 15%, or 15 first place votes that he got, which again, rightfully so. I'm not complaining there, but Ricky Henderson was a guy who ended up in second place, with 12% of the vote, a 6.7 WAR. 135 hits, only 6 home runs, 35 RBIs, a batting average of 319, 408, 437. I have to say, I think it's a little bit of a foul because I think, no doubt about it, Raleigh Fingers was named the Cy Young winner. Obviously, if you're gonna win MVP, you have to win Cy Young. That would make no sense if you don't do either or. But this is where the debate, and I understand the debate of, should pitchers be MVPs? It's a fine. I understand the fine line of why it shouldn't happen. I mean, I voted when I was doing like MVP voting with my company a little while back ahead of the 2020 awards. I put people like Shane Bieber in second, or I voted Shane Bieber second or third, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember where I threw him in there. So I do consider it, but I don't know. I just understand the frustration. Mind you, again, a 1.04 ERA, 8.72 WHIP. It's incredible. It's insane. But I mean, like, when it comes to like the value of the wins above replacement, the Raleigh Fingers a 4.2, Ricky Henderson a 6.7, and it's hard to even compare because Ricky Henderson's playing on a regular basis, right? The man gets on base. The guy. Obviously, we knew that the guy can steal bases. I know 6 home runs is a little not that big, but still, he got on base, a 408 on base percentage. I mean, let's face it, Ricky Henderson is a monster, and I maybe would have probably thrown a vote towards Ricky Henderson there. I mean, you could argue maybe Dwight Evans, Tony Armas. I understand they came 3-4 respectively, but I think it's a little bit of a foul. And again, given that I clearly wasn't around in 1981, obviously I would need to see footage of that or be there for it as to why Raleigh Fingers was AL MVP. But I think it's a little bit of a foul. And I'm just amazed. Of course, Raleigh Fingers was the 1974 World Series MVP when he won the World Series with the Athletics against the Dodgers before finishing out his career in Milwaukee in the American League. Yes, the Milwaukee used to be in the American League. For those that are wondering, what the hell are you saying? That is a small piece of baseball history, just in case. I mean, I know I'm young, but I do know that. But again, I'm just surprised. I'm a little bit amazed. It's a foul, but I guess it's warranted. But I'm just saying, if I had a vote in 1981, let it alone be existing or alive in 1981, I probably would have thrown a vote for Ricky Henderson. Norb?
Yeah, as you mentioned, 1981 was a crazy year. Voting for the American League MVP in the pitching category, they chose Raleigh Fingers as the MVP there. There's 1981 was such a crazy year. Like I know I was born that year, and as I was reading the facts for 1981, it's probably like one of the most controversial years, and also a very sad year in baseball because of the baseball strike that happened for about 2 months, that interrupted the regular season in the midsummer. I think with the baseball community like holding its breath, and hoping to the season to continue like that. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of happenings in that year, and yeah, like for baseball historians out there, yes, it was the baseball strike of 1981, and the season was interrupted. And what the owners did was, they came up with a playoff format, which is what we're familiar with today, as with the division series, and they split the season in two halves. So as I'm going to explain the NL MVP winners, and runners up, you'll see why. The NL MVP winner was Mike Schmidt of the Philadelphia Phillies, fresh off winning a World Series title, and the World Series MVP honors, and also the NL MVP award the previous year in 1980, which is a better year. He added more hardware in 1981 by winning another NL MVP award, and he truly made a statement out of it. Um, 316 average, 31 home runs, 91 RBIs, slugging of 644. Unbelievable, prolific hitter he was. On base of 1,080. Sorry, OPS of 1,080 and on base of a 435. He actually led the team in each of these categories, and believe it or not, he was the only player in the team to hit double digits in home runs with 31, and everyone else in his team hit 9 home runs or less. Can you imagine that? He
Yeah,
was playing. He was playing the live ball era, and his teammates played the dead ball era of the early 1900s. So
it's ridiculous. It's crazy.
and yeah, and it did complement that in their success that year. Um, yeah, Schmidt won the MVP award again in 1986 and inducted to Cooperstown in 1995. Yeah, so definitely one of the greatest hitters of our generation, Mike Schmidt. Yeah, very prolific, always focused, and a multiple time All Star as well. Yes, and the NL MVP runner up that year was the Montreal Expos, Andre Dawson. The Hawk having a tremendous year in 1981, hit 302, 24 home runs, and 64 RBIs. And he had 119 hits, 71 runs, 26 stolen bases for a big 200 plus pound guy. Very powerful hitter as well as a great runner on the base pads. 553 slugging, an OPS of 918, and a 365 on base. Like he was one of the best hitters in that Montreal Expos team. Gary Carter was ahead in the RBI numbers, but Andre Dawson, Tim Raines, Hall of Famers in that team, like really uh, dominated and led the Expos to their first and only playoff appearance in their franchise. As they beat the Philadelphia Phillies and Mike Schmidt that year in the first ever division series, which is what we know, what the precursor that year, and what we know now as the division series,
Yeah.
where splitting after the baseball strike ended the end of July. They restarted the season in the All Star game in Cleveland in August 9th that year. And yeah, the season was split in two halves, so meaning that the division winners of the first half met the winners of the second half, and that's how they came up with the best of five division series format, which what we know today as the division series, which is part permanently in our playoff picture
Yep.
every year. Yes, the Expos really dominated the Phillies that year in the playoffs, and uh, winning that 5 game series versus Philadelphia, but losing to Tommy Lasorda and the LA Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. Dawson would finally win the MVP honor in 1987, which is another video we've done here in our collection. And he was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2010. Unlike what the AL voting MVP voting was, I think this was fair.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right?
No kidding. No kidding.
This was an easy fair in my view. Andre Dawson, a great hitter, but Mike Schmidt was a lot better that year. He dominated his team offensively in the offensive stats and the entire league as well. He was coming off perhaps one of the greatest seasons of his career in 1980, winning all those accolades and continuing that momentum in 1981. And seemingly the baseball strike, unlike any other, did not affect his performance. And that's how Hall of Famers roll.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, and Mike Schmidt, a prolific hitter, that's for sure. He deserved it.
Yeah, and I mean, strike aside, I mean, like, I just feel like it's just even more reasons to give Ricky Henderson the win. I mean, obviously, Rolly Fingers, yeah, I mean, he was an eventual Hall of Famer in 1992. But again, with the shortened season, it's like you knew Henderson could have done more. Again, the WAR just tells the whole story. I know the WAR wasn't as big as it was today, but the WAR alone just tells the whole story as to why I think you could have given Henderson the MVP. And Raleigh Fingers, I mean, let's face it, pitchers don't pitch every day. It just I don't know. It just mind boggled me. It's a really weird pick, but I mean, hey, he's a Hall of Famer, multiple time All-Star, a World Series winner. What do I know?